But science, by definition, allows for more than one opinion. Otherwise, you merely have the will of one man, which is the basis of a cult.
If it's not in frame, it doesn't exist.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I illusion?
Where you been?
Drunk.
Wendy, darling, light of my life.
What is your one purpose in life?
To explode, of course.
I like death with sex. How about you, Casey? You like sex with death?
Yeah, so fuck up and die.
Silent.
Silent enough.
Oh. Silent, kind of like Red State.
What?
Can you believe that?
Oh.
There's no score in Red State. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
That is a good point, actually. I did notice that, but not this time around, surprisingly. But like, other previous ones, I was like, oh, the only music's like in the credits, and then like when he sings and plays piano, like diegetic music.
Sure.
And in the car, diegetic.
Yeah, there's
music.
Yes, there's diegetic, but there's no soundtrack. Like
It's
and
probably because
it's kind of interesting. It kind of
it is. It fits it, but it's probably because Kevin Smith doesn't know how to do like a score. It's like, unless he's doing like 90s bangers, then it's just like, he's like, he probably tried to put some like Alanis Morissette to them like executing that guy on the cross, and then he's like, it just doesn't work. like
it doesn't. Yeah, it's ironic, but it's not that ironic. Like that.
Yeah. Am I sending the right message here? Is this too of the old Kevin Smith? Come on, man, get it together.
I mean, she is God, so it would have been appropriate.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the Cult of Cinema Knowledge podcast. That's Jordan over there. You got water today? Are you raw dogging water?
No, I've never.
I know
raw dogged
you never
water in my
do.
entire life.
So I mentioned
this
it.
is. Do you know what this is? This is
vodka.
It's a
I'm off the
variety
wagon.
pack. No, I know, right. Yeah, I'm back into Tito's, baby. No, they make this variety pack that has unicorn blood and mermaid semen. No, I don't know what it's called. But there's unicorn and mermaid, and
sure.
I think it's very delicious. And this is unicorn. I drink all the flavored water.
I'm sorry that I asked. I was just curious.
Oh yeah, I'll go off. I'll tism on you, dude. I'll go off.
I got.
What are we even talking about?
My
Is this a
water
movie
today.
podcast?
Yeah. That's just how easily we're fucking side railed. So if this is your first time listening to us, this is what it is.
What a wild episode to come in on too. It's like Red State.
Hell yeah!
Like just a casual viewer. You're like, I've never seen this movie, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
What I live in a red state. What's this about?
I know, right? Anyway, so yeah, Red State. You heard the thing. We're talking about it. Old Kevin Smith. This month has been like religious movies month, and it's funny. I guess I could have tried harder to like make movies that were like. I feel like so much of the film anyway is pretty critical overall of religion, but all the movies we ended up watching are all pretty critical of religion.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like if you don't know
other
us
than Tree of Life.
so if you
honestly,
were a
Tree of
viewer,
Life last week that was a positive view on religion.
But I would say that
it was the
I would
loosest.
say that it's
it
not
was the
an
loosest
anti.
of the four.
It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I was gonna say exactly. It's not
almost
anti-religion, but it's kind of like it's like religion's connected to the universe.
Go listen to that episode. It's like it's Christian, but it's like could be just like agnostic almost. You know what I mean? But this movie's like hardcore Christian. They try to be like, we're not regular Christians, because regular your regular Christian down the street isn't executing gay people. Probably. I mean, they want to, but they just
they want to.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
They want to, but they
buddy,
haven't yet.
they're jonesing,
Yeah.
but they haven't.
So
thankfully, thank you. Please don't.
please don't.
God, don't.
Let's just not execute anyone. So I'll give you a quick synop for the movie, right? For Cindy, this is for you. So Red State, there's this church, the 5 Points Church, led by Aben Cooper, it's a Christian cult offset of like hyper religious, very much supposed to be like the Branch Davidians and shit, like Waco style, off branch of Christianity. They're evil and they're running shit on the outskirts of this town. And then meanwhile, you got these 3 teenage kids that are just like, they found like an older chick on Craigslist that's like out in the boonies. that wants to get in a three-way with these horny boys, and so they're like, yeah, we're gonna go stuff this MILF in the woods or whatever. And so these three boys, teenage boys, they go out into the woods. They sideswipe a car on the way there, and there's a dude in it, which later turns out to be the sheriff. He's having a homosexual affair, which kind of comes into play a bit later. But they go, they get there, and the lady is super shady, but they're teenage boys, and they get drugged like immediately and taken to this compound of the church where, you know, you got Eamon Cooper, played amazingly by fucking, oh my God, Michael Parks. I almost said Price. Yeah, Michael Parks, which is fucking awesome. They got their whole spiel. It's like, you know, 20, 25 people or whatever, and they have a guy on the cross that is a gay guy, and their whole spiel is, you know, the gays, and everyone is just destroying the world, and kills them, is going to kill the boys because they're, you know, also just deviant sinners, right? The sheriff, he's known in the parts, but then the Badger, the deputy from Badger from Breaking Bad, he comes just to follow up on like the crashed car situation, finds it there, comes in the middle of the boys trying to escape, which there is some gunfire happening. One of the boys is killed and one of the cultists is killed, and the deputy hears it, so they kill him, setting off a thing, and they get a hold of the Stephen Root, who plays the sheriff, and they're gonna they're blackmailing him and shaming him for being like in the closet secretly and cheating on his wife and everything. And the dude's gonna kill himself, and then he sees like the ATF field office bulletin board on his wall. Calls the ATF. It's John Goodman. He's like, all right, we're gonna deal with it. There's a lot of exposition about the group and everything, and he goes out there, and so back at the church. You know, the one boy, he escapes, and he's running for his life by playing it smart. But as soon as he runs outside, gets outside, he gets shot in the head by who else but the sheriff, because they're waiting at the edge of the compound ready to siege it. Turns into a whole fucking clusterfuck. Now suddenly they're like, all right, well, we got to cover this up. So it turns into a huge shootout, and they're like, well, I guess we got to kill everyone now. Sorry, government. Guys, I know, but just kill all these innocent people. And then the one girl in the cult that's like a teenager, she's like, oh, there's kids here, and she's trying, so she teams up with the last remaining teenage boy. I forget all their names. It's like fucking Billy. It's like Billy Ray is the dude from Succession.
Billy Ray and then like Warren and Buck or something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
the last they got classic.
The last remaining dude, he teams up with the girl. Well, reluctantly, like he kind of doesn't give a fuck, but he ends up kind of teaming with her to try and escape and help the kids get out. Like, he doesn't care so much, but anyway, they're going to leave, and they just get fucking mowed down also by, you know, just this side character. And John Goodman is, like, he's seeing the mess in it all, even though he kind of started it and everything, but Stephen Root gets shot in the head, just not haphazardly after he's shamed. Right. Everyone just kind of like dies unceremoniously. Well, which is like trying to be like the realness or the shocking bit of it. But you know, and then everything's coming to a head, and then these giant horns blow in the sky, and and everyone's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then the church gives up because they think it's Revelations. They think the fucking angels are gonna come down. So then it cuts forward to John Goodman explaining to his board of dudes, like, what's going on. And some neighboring compound was just actually fucking with the church and set up a giant horn that they got to fuck with them. But it was, like, serendipitous, perfect timing to, like, end this bloodbath siege that was happening and save lives overall. And, yeah, it pretty much ends with John Goodman maybe learning a thing or two, and then, you know, Eamon Cooper and singing in prison alone. And that's it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Not losing his faith.
It's fun.
Thankfully.
This is your first time, right? Just kidding.
Well, yeah, that's a spoiler alert for everybody out there in podcast land. We saw this film in Sundance. When it was like 2.5 hours longer, so they're 2 hours long.
It wasn't that long, but it was much longer. It was definitely much longer.
No, it had to have been. I swear it was like 2. I couldn't find the original. I couldn't find it. I was trying to find the original length, the runtime.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that it has to be at least 15 minutes longer.
Oh yeah, at least it's probably closer to 2 hours for sure because there's quite a bit. There's but what they cut was probably smart. We'll probably get into that, but I really liked it, but it was way more Michael Parks just preaching. Like the scene of him preaching earlier on, like in the in the first 30 or whatever when they get to the church.
The dog cage scene.
That scene is already like 10 minutes of preaching now, but in the original cut, it was like 25.
That's what I was going to say. It was I'm pretty sure that was the
They just let him
chunk.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the
they
meat
did it,
of what they cut.
There was a lot of other bits.
I was trying
to
remember
ending, they let him the credits. Like in this one, it ends with him saying "shut the fuck up," but in the original one, he keeps singing for another 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Don't the credits roll next to
it,
or did it?
Credits roll. Credits roll.
Credits.
Right,
No, I thought they rolled over it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a few details that I'm when we saw this in 2011. So I don't know. My brain is not great because it's been how many
14 years. 14
came
years.
out, which is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, we saw this 14 years ago, and I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting. Watching it again, because this, honestly, I've probably only seen this 3 times. This is probably the 3rd time. I'm pretty sure I saw it after it came out, and I probably saw. I saw whatever the hour and a half version of it, and then now watching it again, and it, I think it lived in my mind, a little more succinct. It's I remember the big parts, the parts that I really liked. I remember watching it again this time, being like. Wow, the connective tissue of this film is really weak and really bad. But
I wouldn't go that far. Weak, yes, but bad. I wouldn't go bad.
Wait, sure. Bad, but just
I see what you're saying though. It's structurally kind of messy for sure.
and it feels so much weaker than I remember. It's funny because I'm compounding all the him preaching still watching it this time. I'm that is amazing. That's it's horrific. It's not really well shot. That's actually the really funny part is he tried to deviate so much from his regular shooting style, that I'm kind of I wish that he just put it on a dolly, put it on just put it on some sticks, bud. No, I don't know. But anyways, that's just no. I think for the shootout stuff, it's amazing. I love how the shootout is shot.
Dolly would have been
I think
good
the preaching
would
have been so much better for the preaching.
I just don't know if he's ever
watching it again.
He sticks all the way too, but but yeah, it's he definitely was well, I think the look of this movie is what's aged the most for me because this is probably my this is my 5th or 6th time seeing it probably. I've watched it with the guys over the years on October and shit like that just randomly and But I at least haven't watched it in probably close to 10 years, 9-10 years, something like that, since I last watched it. But the most noticeable thing to me now that's aged the poorest is definitely the way that's filmed because it's 2010 digital was pretty good, but it wasn't quite there. Yeah. But at the time, you're dude, digital's finally there. But this is obviously lower budget too. But looking back on it, it's
shot on red, dude.
Really?
Red, nothing else. No,
still, OG red though, right?
It's so funny because red, yes, just the red camera, nothing, no parentheses, no.
Well, that was the thing. I remember.
It,
I remember when it came out.
So great.
It was holy shit, an affordable, good-looking camera, and it's totally serviceable. I don't need this movie.
It looks like a Sundance film.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it was.
Totally fine. Totally fine. And it's I don't think this will be controversial necessarily, but the look of this movie, I appreciate the swing, and I think this is Kevin Smith's best directed movie because he is not the strongest director necessarily, but I feel he's got he's just swinging for it with the cameras. He's going handheld. He's obviously completely changing genres, which is that was the entire conversation.
Exactly. No, but
it fits.
I don't know.
To me, he's doing it. Yeah.
I still feel like that is the fuel to get my engine going when I watch this again because I was man, if this wasn't such a deviation from what he does, it would just kind of be like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put this very high in his filmography. And it still kind of isn't. It's kind of in the middle for me personally. But like, it would have been like, without it being such a drastic change, and the fact that he made Tusk a few years later, where Tusk is like probably, I think that's my favorite movie by Kevin Smith. That's deviating,
Tusk.
Drastically.
Every time
from
I
his.
watch Tusk, I
But-
like it even more. Tusk is like,
even
it feels
more,
a little
right,
bit more
right.
refined than this, because it is. He leans a little bit more
Yes.
into what he's good at. Because in this, there was a lot of
Yeah.
big swings, a lot of big, like he's
Well,
just
and
going
I
crazy
love,
with it.
dude.
And Tusk was
to
like,
sing his
just-
praises. Yeah, to sing his praises. He made Red State with the altered mind to be like, I want to make this like nothing I've ever made before.
Yeah.
Like no jokes, nothing. And I actually appreciate it, because the times when it's like Victoria was kind of, she watched
when
it
it
with me,
feels
surprisingly.
Kevin Smith,
But
when he's just like,
when it,
how much does
well,
a,
yeah,
how
when
much
he's
does a
trying to
cross like
make,
that
like-
cost? Like,
Yeah. Basically, when he's doing those kind of like jokes, or like that kind of like that observational stuff that he does in his movies, where it's like it's a little more like philosophical. It's a little more heady than
Chatting.
like where in Clerks, it's
Chatting.
like they're jokes, but it's like a lot of like, yeah, it's a lot of chatting. It's kind of like day-to-day life, and which he did in this pretty decently. But like the stuff that's appalling to me is the first like 15 minutes with the kids and stuff, and I'm just like that just is it's so cringy. Like watching it originally in 2011, it fit that like the zeitgeist a lot more. But watching it now, where it's like they're on the phone and he's like, look at them titties. I'm gonna bang them
feels
titties and stuff. It just
perfect.
it
to
feels
me.
like I mean, no,
like,
right? I get
it's
it. And I
cringe
think that's-
as
I think
fuck.
that's it. I've aged,
but it feels
right.
like
Yeah.
2011. Like it does. Like it just does
No,
feel like
it
dudes
does.
that were
It-
just like a few years younger than us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right. But then they look, oh my god, their look is like, his goatee was just like was hilarious. I loved it, but it was like, it was kind of distracting, honestly. That kid, I was like, this high school kid's got this like crazy ass goatee.
have you met
I love
me
it.
in high school?
I love it so much.
Like, I had a beard.
No, I know.
Sometimes.
No, I know you can. I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
I
it's
see your
like,
point, though.
I'm not saying
Well,
I did. It didn't take. It's not like there's a virgin. I just think like the first like 15 minutes
Yeah.
was so rushed to set everything
It
up.
was rushed.
That I was like, I don't remember
I-
that. I don't remember that at all.
I feel
watching
like
it. So
that was a little longer because, like, it does. I feel
Yeah.
like that's the thing that I think that this movie's kind of missing. Because I actually really like this movie, even though I agree with all the flaws that you're pointing out to it.
of course.
Uh,
yeah, and that's the thing. Me too.
I really,
yeah,
I really love it, but it's like I do think the biggest thing, other than like structurally, but like it's so like it's fucking like 88 minutes or something. It's like not even 90 minutes, and
Right,
the longer version we watched was too long. However, I think this was maybe an overcorrection. Like I think it's nice and quick. It's easy. It's bite sized. However, Kevin Smith's strengths are kind of cut out of it, which is his dialogue and his characterization. So it's just like, even though the first 15 minutes in the version that we watched, the final version that is now, it's hard to even remember what it was before because it's like like I said, I've seen this a few times since too, and it's been so long. But like, I feel like before it's like I want to live with these characters a little bit longer to get to know them because it's like I do felt like they were real characters. Like they made real decisions. They were acted well when they were scared. Like earlier on, it's like kind of cringy and goofy dialogue, but
they did not seem like friends at all. But that's fine. They just
it was fine. But like when they're scared,
it was
and
serviceable.
I forget, the one dude with the goatee that's like his acting when he's like freaking out and he's like calling him a baby, and then like when he like his acting is pretty good. And I think all their acting is pretty good, except for the cult. Most of the cult members
Dude,
suck.
No, I disagree. Actually, I
They're
love
all
the
right.
cult
They're-
members.
well,
I think,
they're
I think
very
they do
much-
amazing.
You're a cult member, just be a fucking you love Jesus, which fits.
It felt
it fits.
real.
It fits. It totally fits. But
It feels very like if you watch, dude. I watched like a Waco documentary just recently, and it's like it totally
It does,
like
that fits.
all the people. I'm like, holy shit! Like this does have. It's like if this was a period piece and he said it in the 90s, it would feel like it almost should have been. And he did actually start writing this like way early on.
it'd be
too. He had this in,
interesting to
like,
give them characters more of the '90s feel because it does feel a little bit like I felt like it worked. I knew guys like that. They're like insufferable, but I knew guys like that. But it's like it does. A lot of movies do feel. I feel like Kevin Smith does a pretty good job writing like younger generations, but like more and more with internet culture, it's like harder to do it and not sound like a 40-year-old writing a teenager. And that so many shows have and movies have such a hard time pulling that off, I feel like, of like making it, you know, it's like, yeah, make them in their 20s and you can kind of like get away with more. But it's just like teenagers specifically written by like, you know, 40-plus-year-old men always sound like that to me. Like it very. So, I mean, all things considered, I think he did an okay job compared to some shit I've seen. But like, yeah, no, but that, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like we could have. I wanted more of the sheriff. I feel like we got a good chunk of John Goodman. I feel like that was always there, like just enough. He's like the moral heart or whatever.
Yeah, that's to me. That's like the best. I think when it goes to like when the beginning, getting them into the church. You know, get the three kids are like main quote unquote main characters, which there is no main character in this, which I think is awesome. Except for, I mean, probably Michael Parks is like that's his like bread and butter. He would not make this film if Michael Parks didn't sign on. And so that was actually really funny. It actually took him years. It took him like 10 years to get Michael Parks. Like when he saw Michael Parks in From Dusk Till Dawn, he started writing this movie.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is crazy. He's been, you know, working on this film forever. And so anyways, Michael Parks, pretty much main character. But to get the three kids there, it's almost one of those things where I'm like, as much as I'm complaining about the first 15, I'm kind of just like, yeah, who cares? That it literally could have just been them being like, I don't know, let's go break into the Waco thing to fuck around. That could have been it. Yeah, right. Or it could have like literally didn't care.
Dumb horny teenagers.
The second they get in,
setup.
Like them shooting inside the cage. And it just being covered, and then the little boy lifts the thing up, you know, and it's like all that POV. He does a lot of POV in this, which is awesome. But that like POV, I'm like, oh fuck, we're in it. Like when I remember seeing this in theaters, being like, what the fuck are we watching, dude? This is crazy. And like, so watching this again, I kind of like that reminiscent of like, oh shit, this is where it gets real. Like I love the tension. I love that preacher. I love that. That tension's great.
The tension of them escaping and then the deputies outside. And they're like running through the halls too, and he's like, he finds the armory and everything, like Nicholas Braun, right?
Dude, I love. Dude, you know how good that is? Such a good reveal when he flips the light on and it's like ching, the fluorescent light flips on, and it's just so good. You're just like the armorant, he's just in there, and you're like, it's one of those things. That's what I love. You get so much hope. But he wrote this to be so bleak, and I think it works perfect. Like he makes it so because
it is.
It is. He wanted everyone to suffer in this, and I was like, that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. It's one of those things where like Kevin Smith as much as I think he has something to say with his life, I feel like he just tries to, with this movie, he tried to be like, I'm going to make everyone suffer, but kind of for no reason.
I feel like he had some vitriol he needed to get out. Like he had some, like we all got some poison that we need the bloodletting out. And this felt like that. Like it's a little cathartic in that way. Because it's like, obviously.
That's such a good reveal, and that's like the one time where you're like, "Oh, hope," and then boom, he gets blasted in the head, and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Exactly.
You're like, "Okay,
which is so good," because like the reveal where he's in there, but then, like, this is what part of the reason why I say it's such good directing too, is because it's like, the way that he has it all set up, writing and directing, but like, it's like acted well, like it's doing a different thing, but it's just like when it comes back to the room, it's very, very like a somber scene, and the woman, the daughter is crying over her husband that died. And they show the room, and he's like, look, he killed these two. And then it's like, we as the audience know that's not how it went down. And we see the other dude there laying against his body, acting dead. And I'm like, that's good. That's a good, like, fucking tension-setting moment where it's like the audience knows something that the characters don't know that we're seeing on screen. And, like, that's, I don't know.
Well, you tricked
like,
yourself, dude. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was a cut scene, so I was like, "Wait, did I miss?" I'm like, "Did they fuck up?" And then I remembered. Like I had that. My train of thought went like, "Wait, did this get cut?" And then I'm like, "No." I was like, "Oh yeah, duh. It's the MacGuffin or whatever, the fake out where he's pretending he's laying on the dead pile of dead corpses, you know."
Yeah, he's doing the 28 days later.
I'm like, it's great. Yeah, the 28 days later. But and also like I love it because his character, it's a real moment, dude. I think that's one thing about
him trying to slowly go, and he's like trying to hold this panic in.
Dude, yes. When he runs through, I know
he runs through. Well, and like he's gonna just spray in the room, just fucking machine gun. And then he sees his buddy, and his just little silent freak out, like he's barely holding together. Like that's good. that's good by the actor crushing it, but also it's just like I'm seeing some of that character come through. So it's just like it's good enough, but if anything, this left me kind of wanting a little bit more. But at the same time, you're right. I'm glad that it's like, who cares? Like it's fun, it's fast paced, it gets to it. You know what I mean? It turns into like I don't know. It's like 3 different movies crammed together, but it's like it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean that's his whole like it's like one thing about Kevin Smith, love him or hate him, he like almost to a fault, he dissects and talks about his films, which I like. It's like a thing I cherish because like when I was younger, it was like he basically was like telling you how like he breaks down the veil of director and filmmaker and like. You know, an audience member and how it works, and he'll talk about his.
He loves to hear himself talk, which for better or worse.
He
but
really
like,
does. And
I remember
but that's what's
bumping
cool is, like,
An Evening with
him
Kevin
talking to
Smith,
this.
like back in the day, like so often.
Yeah.
Like he just gets up and he breaks it all down.
But it's cool because it lets you know what he was thinking, and I love that. That's like why behind the scenes are so popular and stuff, and
We're
extras and
so
DVDs and stuff.
popular.
And yeah, right. But unless it's Criterion, which I don't think this is getting a Criterion anytime soon, but. It'd actually be kind of cool though if they went and digitally remastered this. I think
That'd be fun.
I think it would look better. But yeah, it's just cool. He talked about it because there's like him talking about the 3 different films. That was my train of thought. He did that on purpose, like totally 100%. Because he literally, as he was writing it, he wanted to be like, I'm gonna do something like that. You'll have no idea what's going to happen next, and you don't know who's going to die and who's going to live.
See, I like that
I really
because it's
appreciate
like I've always respected him. He's a great writer. He does very quick, quirky dialogue that also like sometimes has something really good to say. Smart double entendres, like good characters, and so it's just like this movie. I still really appreciate. Like at the time, I was just hyped that he was doing like a fucking like dark thriller. That I was like, fuck yeah, like, and I still am, but it's like I still really appreciate that it's just like he kind of let his mind out of the box and he's just like, fuck it, swing for the fences. Like he didn't make this for anyone is what it feels like, and I appreciate that.
That's what's cool, yeah.
Because since Clerks, and honestly, I feel like he's been kind of making movies, like he makes them for himself because he enjoys the process now, but like at this point in his career, like in the late 90s into the early 2000s, like I feel like he was making movies, and I felt like he felt that he was making movies just to kind of like appease his base. Like he was always kind of like, he said when talking about Zack and Miri later, that he's like chasing the puck, going where the puck is instead of where it's gonna be, and like doing it for him. Like I don't know, because like even Mallrats, like his second movie, like it feels like he's doing his thing, but also it's just like I feel like he felt he was in a box. Sort of, and so this is him.
He does
literally
he does talk about
out of
that.
the box, and
He-
same with Tusk.
Yeah, he's very extensive about.
It's like refined, but I'm just pissed he didn't stick with it, right? You know?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I'm really sad because from the trajectory, right? Like, did it go? It was Cop Out then Red State, right?
I feel like Cop Out
He
was like
did
09 or
Zack-
something. So yeah,
Yes. Okay. That is okay. I'm going off the cuff here. My memory because Zack and Mary. He pitched Zack and Mary to the Weinsteins. Unfortunately, to Miramax. How about that? Yeah. He pitched it to Miramax along with Red State. So he had both scripts ready. But Red State was a lot different, and Red State was actually going to get a higher budget, and they were going to do. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. Like if you've heard about the ending, how the original ending was supposed to be, it's pretty good. But so they pitched that. They didn't like it. Zack and Mary won out, and so he later had to go and fund that later. But he talks about that where he's like, Zack and Mary, that's kind of his standard way of kind of like he deviated slightly because he's using new characters and he's kind of trying a little different comedy style.
Zack and Mary's kind of underrated.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
as far as like that era of his filmography too, like coming off of like Cop Out, Jersey Girl, and like I was never a huge fan of like Jay and Silent Bob movies, and so it's like Zack and Mary was solid, but yeah, it was safe. It was safe for like raunchy R-rated comedy, chasing the Apatow like in the middle of all the Apatow movies.
Yeah,
like.
And that's I know,
but
and
that's
I
what
kind
was
of feel bad. I
popular,
want to
right?
I haven't watched it. Right, exactly. I don't want to be like it's just an Apatow clone, but it felt like it at the time, so it probably still does now. But then he did Cop Out, which was like that. That was the time when he was like, he truly was like making a standard Hollywood film.
It's the only time
you know,
he's
like
directed
that-
something
like-
he didn't
like
write, you know, and
he's right,
not
exactly. And it was like
that
the time he
strong
worked
of a director, like,
really
yeah.
close. No, he's really not. And that's where it's like he's the 1-2 punch guy. Like
Yeah.
he has to write it
Yeah.
because when he directs it, it's like he's not very like flashy director. Like if he wasn't such a good writer,
Yeah.
he probably would just
Well,
be
and he-
some guy that directs movies and you wouldn't really know his style.
He edits all his own movies too, right? And so like
Yes.
that's
Which is-
that's part
that's
of it.
cool.
He's like the sandwich, like, you know, he like we say, you make a movie 3 times, and so it's very clearly his vision where he writes it, directs it, and then edits it. But it's just like it's the writing and the editing, and it's like he almost has to direct as a means to an end to get to actually cut the movie, to like make the jokes, to make the pacing, which is what he is good at. You know what I mean? You know, the visualness of it. And because I thought this movie was edited really cool too. It was fun. I don't know. Yeah, this movie's
The more I talk about it,
truncated,
I
and
was
it's
watching. Yeah, like the more I think about it, I'm like, I really like it, but it's kind of like, it almost feels like a little treat for myself. Like it's not one I really want to recommend to anybody.
What's that?
And but there are things that I really liked about it. Like I was actually thinking about this when you're given the synopsis. Like it's a little more nuanced than I give it credit for. Like because it's like, but it really is. It just that's the whole thing. I know for a fact that Kevin Smith, he hinged this entire film on that. That's the whole reason that's like 30 minutes long of him giving this sermon, you know, to the thing is because like I know for a fact that's what he wrote first. Like he was like I'm giving it to Michael Parks. This is what the movie hinges
The
on.
sermon,
You know, that's essentially
this character
that's essentially the inciting incident.
a
You know, is getting there and then-
grandfatherly, charismatic, gentle-looking old man that's just like, he's like,
and then-
I fear God, and like that, and then just like setting up these
Yes.
murders and shit.
But his
like,
own,
he's so
but
evil.
I love it so much how like their own like, you know, their manipulation of God, their interpretation of it, and like I love how it's so violent, and it feels like that's the thing where it's like this is a horror film. Like people kind of don't. I kind of agree it doesn't fit like it doesn't fit in the niche perfectly, but like
the first
it
half
is
is
horrific
very
in that.
horror, classic, like
Right.
that kind of horror. And the
Yeah.
second half, is more like siege thriller, but like,
Well,
so what?
But if he ended it the way that he wanted
Yeah,
to,
with the angel?
it would have been horror, dude. With the angel, that's pretty good.
if this was an
A
A24 movie, it
This-
would have ended that way. These days, back then, they
yes.
wouldn't have taken the
No.
risk, but they would have done it. These
well,
days.
and he needed.
and the money.
He literally
Yeah.
needed like. He literally needed like. He was talking about. I think he was being a little hyperbolic, but he said that he needed the budget from all of his other movies combined to make that ending, like to do it. Which I know he's being hyperbolic, but I'm assuming to make that they probably would have needed $15 million to do this.
Yeah.
You know, this whole movie just to have that because like their effects, which this kind of shows watching it again because they use a lot of digital.
Which the
but
digital
their-
blood
their-
irks me.
this-
but
I hate it.
it's-
I know we hate it.
it's
yes.
serviceable because
But
Scorsese it's shot on
Scorsese
just
uses it.
red. I know, and
Uh-huh.
Scorsese.
I know, right.
The only person who's allowed to use digital blood is David Fincher because
Yeah.
he like simulates
yeah.
every single fucking
Well-
blood droplet.
I know.
It's not just
harder,
like
it's harder to
composited,
make
it's
digital
just, like,
blood
actually
Yeah.
pouring down.
Yeah. Yes. No, he literally what he does is he takes like some freaking, death row inmate and he shoots
Yeah.
them and then he takes the digital blood from that and he puts it in there.
he just
he
deep,
it.
deep fakes fucking,
Yeah.
Edward Norton's face
But-
on it or whatever.
But yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that. Oh my god, I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh
so,
yeah. I did. I lost my train of thought again.
was it unicorn cum in that cup? What was it?
I know, right, dude. Yeah, it's mermaid. It's mermaid semen. Thank you. It's delicious. It really is like one of the best drinks. But I think I was talking about the nuance in this script.
Yeah,
that
like
as we're talking about it, it's cool to like have that where the like having the 3 boys in a 3-way is like it was homosexual, so it's like that was still their like that's their whole hook, you know, is that it's like being anti-gay, which is very interesting because touches on that. Well, he doesn't touch on it necessarily in Dogma very much. You know, I mean, clearly Chasing Amy, he brings that up, and he's kind of like, it's kind of weird. I know Kevin Smith is the one he's always been kind of an ally, but then I think it's just like he can't keep up with the times.
I think he's definitely an ally, but he feels in his own personal life like, I don't want to say prudish, but like he does feel like weird about stuff in his personal life. He's like, yeah, you do you, but when I think about it, then it makes me feel weird, you know, like type of vibe.
But this movie is his. He did Dogma when he was on the fence about religion. Like it's his religion movie that he made to be like, you know, this is interesting. Isn't religion kind of interesting? And then like after all of his life experience that happened, and George Carlin died, and when George Carlin worked on him on Dogma, like George Carlin really rocked his fucking brain. Like he was just like, whoa, George Carlin's like, you believe in God, man? Yeah. he's like, you believe in God, man? Like he's like, God's got you by the balls, man. Like
George Carlin,
you're like,
so good.
and so and I think that he made this movie, even though because he's been writing this for years. I'd be really interested to hear or to see the scripts to see how much it's evolved, because this feels like the movie where he's kind of just like, I'm not religious anymore, but it was in my it's it's still in my background, but he's like yeah. I'm not though.
I like obviously the group is the cult 5 Pointers. Obviously they're horrible people and fucking bigoted murderers and everything, but I almost respect the lack of like the no hypocrisy. I mean, there's hypocrisy in different ways, but like it's refreshing to be like a Christian that's just like, God doesn't love you. God, you should fear God. Because the idea, like, if God was real, I would be shitting my fucking pants because that's terrifying. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
if we could prove, or if there was a God and it was just a thing, and like that
people would lose
Western God existed,
their fucking minds, because he's
I guess
a righteous evil piece of shit, which is the kind of God you would fear. You know what I mean? But this like this like love God. You know, like, yeah, we hate homosexuals, we hate them, but we won't execute them. And I'm like, these guys are like, no, I fear God, and I'm going to fucking execute anyone that the Bible says I should. I'm like, that's terrible, but like, I guess go for it. If you're gonna beat a cult, go for it. Is your dog about to maul you? She's going to jump out the window.
Sorry. We're going to have...
No, I could see you
on this episode
struggling.
Yes, on this. You can't... So we record over Discord, and Discord takes out loud thundering noises from the background. So on this episode, you will hear my lovely dog. This is true. We're indie podcasts, so this is true. Like,
oh yeah,
we're couch podcasters. You know, we don't have
believe
a producer.
It or not, yeah, so believe it or not, we don't have like a sponsor or a financier.
Yeah,
know?
No.
This is
we
brought
have
to
a
you by
Patreon,
like,
and if you want to support us on that,
no, Squarespace.
I know.
Squarespace.
Yeah, it's Squarespace and like Raycon.
Yeah, Raycon.
By Raycon.
Yeah, World of Tanks.
But you're gonna hear my fun little dog barking in the background. Here she is in the video.
Yeah.
She's
hi Pele.
She needs some attention. She's just like, oh, I don't like that they're rude to people.
I know.
In this
Everyone
movie.
Be nice.
Okay.
Be nice. But
so sorry for the interruption there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I definitely agree. The fact that they're like, that's kind of thing. It's one of those things where it's like, I'd rather you be like openly racist or whatever, openly bigoted, so that we know.
At least
they take it to the extreme. Obviously, you don't need to be this heavily armed. That's what's funny too. Is like they got him because of like gun trade. Like the gun trafficking that was happening.
Yeah. It's
like that's how they got him, and it's like the fact that like they protest. It's crazy that this exists. Like, I mean, not really, because it's like everything exists, but this in Seattle, it's so freaking popular to have like small whatever branches of the church just preaching downtown, and they literally are like, their whole thing is they're trying to goat you into attacking them or causing rift for views to validate themselves, you know? And that kind of thing where like, that's essentially what all these protesting are. And so
confrontation in order to, bring attention to their cause or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's
Well,
such a, like,
if they don't have a
lowest common
sign,
denominator, like-
I know, seriously. If those fuckers don't have a sign that says anal penetration equals eternal damnation, then get the fuck out of here, because that's the only one I'm going to stop and talk about. That's the best sign. I'm going to hang that sign on my wall.
that's good. I know, dude. No, I love, like, the signs are hilarious, and, like, I think it's great because Kevin Smith has, like, first-hand experience. Like, when he did Dogma, that was, like, such a huge, like, I love, and, you know, and it's so classic where he does the interview. That's
So classic.
that's such good lore.
That's good.
Where it's
That
like,
is,
you
that's
know,
good.
he's in it. And what's great is, like, this movie also got protested. But they did their own protest at Sundance, you know, to, like, wash it out.
Yeah.
You know, just to, yeah. It's,
That's always fun. Yeah, going to people protesting movies always cracks me up too. But I mean, it's gonna. Remember, this is a tangent
we
now.
have
but you
so
remember,
much.
You remember when
we have such little time on our hands, and that's what we do, huh?
You remember when did you go with us to go see Blindness? Century 16, and all the people
No.
were protesting blindness. You remember that movie? We should watch that movie again.
Blindness.
Where it's like everyone in the world goes blind, and it's got like fucking Julianne Moore, I think, and Mark Ruffalo. But like everyone in the world goes blind, and so it's like post-apocalyptic, but everyone's blind, and that's what causes it, kind of. Where everyone gets like locked up. It's more like quarantined blindness because it's like a disease. But anyway, I thought you were with me. There was like a ton of protesters, like blind people, protesting it, and they're like, blindness isn't a disease. I'm like, oh, they haven't even seen it. You know?
Yeah.
But
well, I can kind of get on that board a little
I
bit
know,
for,
but
but
that-
if you're
that's
like,
not what
if
it's
you
about,
are
though.
blind and you're like,
But that's
this
not
is-
what it's about.
This is like, yeah,
Yeah, not really.
sure.
That's a
right.
misreading, kind of
But-
like, you know, how if this would be like, you know, like, oh, this makes Christians look bad, which it's like, this makes any fundamentalist look bad. They could be fundamentalists anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, because fundamentalists are bad. You know what I mean? And it's like, they literally.
And I'm like, if you watch this movie, you can be a fundamentalist and get away with it just the second you start arming yourself with heavier rounds than what God provides on this green earth. But if you can't buy it at Walmart,
Yeah.
then you become on the hot list.
Yeah.
Especially when this movie was written, he wrote it throughout the years from 9/11 so it's like that. So it's like even having like becoming terrorists, you know, essentially.
Which is
and
one of
that's what
my
happened to Waco, too.
one of my favorite lines in the entire movie, because this movie is also very funny too, which I'm glad he kept that, though. It's like quite a lot of humor in it, but like my favorite line probably one of my favorite lines that gets me every time, where he's like at the end, he's like, what, you're gonna give him a trial, you know? And he's like, what is this, September 10th 2001? He's like, Patriot Act, bitch. like
yeah,
he'll never see the fucking
Yeah, no,
courtroom, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, that's
And
poignant.
yeah. Right. You know, that totally works. And that's the thing. I'm like, you can still practice. You can practice whatever you want, but the second you start, you know, I don't know. If you fuck with like a government agency, then they get mad. But
Well, not now.
in America,
This movie's-
religion and politics go hand in hand. So
Especially
it's-
now, they're probably like, oh yeah, they're gonna start writing policy based after this movie. Right? They're like that.
Though, yeah.
God, I wish Michael Parks was still alive. He can come be the fucking Secretary of State or whatever. Anyway,
yeah. Oh, really?
so I was gonna say earlier, I think not only is this movie nostalgic, but it's in the era too of like late 2000s, early 2010s. This feels like it could have been a Magnet movie. You remember Magnet?
Oh, 100%, dude.
Where
yeah.
it's like, that's what I was thinking,
love
like these
Magnet.
like low budget thrillers, like that's what Signal came out on. That's what fucking like Splinter came out on, which we should do that for Horrortober. Splinter.
I know, dude. We love Splinter.
Splinter's
Splinter
dope.
is one.
But like, I don't know. So it's just like, I know that's like personal in me. I have a soft spot for like this era of like lower budget, like kind of like thriller or horror movies that were coming out. Just like this, it's like not straight to DVD, but practically this didn't even really have a theatrical one. It was him driving it around from town to town, taking it on the road.
Oh,
like,
right. I was gonna say I'll give you the.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I know the breakdown.
Yeah.
if you want to hear it now,
I'm
so we
ready.
can just kind of
let's do it.
get the show on the road like he did.
Hey,
This was
that's where that comes
this
from.
was a tight. Yeah. Oh, you really though.
Thanks, Kevin.
This is a tight $4 million, like to the dime. Like there was, like I was saying earlier.
That's great.
They spent $5,000. $5,000 is all special effects, and I actually think they like that. When I read that again, like I kind of forgot. I remember like all this, kind of the soup in my brain, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And like it actually looks pretty good. And what's cool is this film was shot 100% sequential. So he edited all of it as it was going.
He literally
had
that,
the last 2 days. The last shot, 2 days after the last shot,
edited.
He had credits on
Yeah.
it. Like it was like finished.
That's
And
his
so,
style.
Like, that's pretty
I
cool.
think he started doing that with like
Yeah.
Clerks 2 came before this, right? It was like 2006 or something. But
Oh,
I remember.
yeah,
I think
so,
that's when he started doing that. Is just like editing as he filmed. Like he'd shoot all day, and then literally he'd like edit yesterday's stuff and like just edit the
Well, there's
dailies.
probably-
You know what I mean?
probably
Like,
when-
like, sometimes.
Yeah, it probably became more streamlined. There's probably a
Yeah.
lot more digital involved in the film process back in the day too. Like before digital. Because this is his first film shot on 100%
4
digital.
mil's pretty good. Like
Dude,
that's great.
No, that's cheap, and especially because
got a
like
pretty
they
good
got
cast.
like John
Goodman,
they got a yes. I was gonna
Stephen
say
Root,
and it's
dude,
funny
like,
because
it's pretty solid.
everybody
Eyebrows guy.
everybody
that's in
approached
everything.
Yeah, I know eyebrows guy. I know stapler guy. But everyone like approached him to do it, so that was kind of
good.
cool. It's
He's
like
got that enough rep.
John Goodman's character. It was like approached him in the sense that like he threw out a web and he wanted a couple different people. He wanted Samuel Jackson to be the agent, and that'd be kind of fun. But he didn't want to take the pay cut. But anyhow, John Goodman got it. God bless him. It was great. He's got that turtleneck that we all love.
Yeah.
But this was 4 mil and oh yeah, I wanted to say real quick. I don't think we said how he wanted to end it. So let's just get that out of the way. We do that a lot where we like talk about a thought and then we like drop it.
Sure
But
do,
anyways,
bud.
he
Sure
was just
do.
gonna- it was gonna be a quick, succinct ending where like it pretty much ends the exact same way with the trumpets and everything, but it's real and John Goodman is there and everybody starts, their heads explode, their chests explode their hearts explode out of their chest. It's like chaos. Everyone starts dying around John Goodman. He's freaking out. He closes his eyes. It's a POV, and there's like biblical angels there cutting everybody apart and killing everybody there. And like the angel's killing the last guy, and he looks over at John Goodman. He gives him like a shush, puts his finger to his mouth and says shush, and then like flies off, and then the rapture comes down. The 4 horsemen of apocalypse come through, and it's just like. It's so, and then, and just credits. And it's like, I'm like, damn, that is so cool. I really wish we got it. But it's fine. Like he said, it really probably would have taken another, 10 million just to shoot that, just to shoot all that if he wanted to. But, it's fine. We didn't need it. I actually kind of like how it ends with that. It's like, it's a little corny, and like John Goodman kind of rambles like old man rambling. Like I was saying this is No Country for Old Men, but it's like No Country for John Goodman.
Right,
it's
kind of.
really, like the ending. The ending is kind of The ending's just kind of old man rambling.
Sometimes,
I'm like, okay, that's fine.
how
Whatever.
you just gotta believe, or whatever.
Yeah, right.
With the ending, I like that.
But anyways,
like,
so
the second shot is the horn. Like in the movie, it's like the second shot of the movie. They're driving down the road, and the kid looks out the window and sees it.
Yes.
And so it's like on subsequent rewatches, I'm like, oh, that's fun because it's like barely in there, but it's like an answer for later.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and it is the
nice.
fire station.
Yeah.
He
It's nice.
explains like the fire station's got rid of it. But dude, him saying, okay, the one thing, oh my god, the one thing that is talking about 40-year-old men writing teenagers, when he's writing about the hippie compound, I can't remember what he says. He calls them like he uses like eco-friendly compost terrorist dudes or whatever. Like he uses like a 4-word, large word, like compost, hippie, freak, granola guys. And like every single time he mentions them, which is like 6 times in this one paragraph, he says the entire thing. He doesn't say like eco freaks. He says the like compost, like ecological guys. It was very like, I was like, well, this is kind of, this is weird.
Some of that speech is a lot like some of the dialogue is pretty unnatural and on the nose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think it's
fine.
like Kevin Smith trying to write.
It is.
He's trying to write himself, but different.
But it's also
it
feels
funny.
like in those moments too, where it's like almost looks to camera, says a thing that it's like, he's like, oh, that's like a cinematic line. Like, yeah, it's not natural or like what he would normally do.
Yeah.
But since he's writing this kind of movie, he's just like, just goofing. You know what I mean? I feel like he's just like, and then the angel like shushes him, like what? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
And he says this line that no one would ever actually speak out loud, but like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how.
I don't know.
But
It works.
It's great.
It
I'm sure
works,
they.
but yeah, it's
they
weird.
He shot and edited this entire movie in 26 days. So
Nice.
give credit where credit is due. It's pretty. It's for what we get, it's pretty solid. But anyways, so what he did is at Sundance, he kind of pulled a little ruse, and he got he was going to auction off the movie. And so when the producer came up and was like, okay, we're going to auction the movie, who's going to buy it, what company wants to buy this? Kevin Smith, he bought it for $20 because that's what he wanted to do, because that's legally he's allowed to now own all the rights outright. So he owns this movie, and so he took it. And he did exactly that. He went to all 50 states. He played it in theaters. He advertised it, did all his own distribution, did everything on his own. And when he finished that, he totally, after all of that, so it's kind of funny. It's like box office later, Lionsgate, they purchased
For like
the
home
DVD
distribution.
rights. They purchased the rights to it, and so they were the ones that they re-released it and they made some money. And so it's kind of funny because it's like theatrically when it ran, it was only like $2 million that it made off of this when it went back into theaters. But it's just cool that he was able to it's
that DIY. He's
doubled.
making
He made
it an
$8 million.
event. I'm setting up an online campaign. And it's I have so much respect for that. It's such a I guess that's also why I like this movie. On its own, I keep trying to ask myself this last time watching it, where I'm if this wasn't directed by Kevin Smith and this was just some out of the ballpark thing, would someone, because I feel like that's what so much of the conversation is about, but I'm on its own, if this was just some up and comer made this movie, I still think it would be oh, that movie's super underrated and really cool, because it's a lot of the appeal and a lot of the problems with this movie come from the fact that it's you're comparing it to who Kevin Smith is and what he's done in his life, what he's known for. He's such kind of a personality, if you watch this movie, that I feel like a person, I'm curious. I mean, if anyone out there, I'm curious what your experience, if you've watched this movie and did not know who Kevin Smith was, did not know anything about it, and just watched it as it was, how you felt going in, because it's I feel like we were always a little swayed. And I feel like most people are always come at it from knowing that perspective. And I'd like to know, I feel like if my brother, for example, I mean, he doesn't watch these movies with us anymore, but it's I feel like if he were to watch this movie, he'd be that was cool. That was a good time. You know what I mean? But he would have none of the context. And I wonder if that would make it better or worse. I don't know. I'm curious. So,
well, I feel like I'm actually, that's a good thought experiment. And I think the part for me is, if it was shot by a quote unquote nobody, this was up and coming, and they had 4 million, they would not be able to get all the characters.
All the actors,
yeah,
for sure.
And I personally feel like the only reason I believe all the actors in this is because it's Kevin Smith.
It is.
And I know that attention, but it's I'm thinking this. Remember The Void? That feels like such a good example of no-name actors, and so I have all this believability in it,
The Void is
and it's and they do,
good.
and they the Void punches above its weight hardcore.
So hard,
where
it's more than a $5,000 effects budget though. That's for sure.
I know effects budget, yeah. Well, and The Void came out in what, 18 or 16 or something? Was it?
Yeah, 16.
What year?
I feel 15, 16, something like that.
I feel like that's that you could do
what do
more
those guys do now? The
with
Void's
less
fucking-
in 16. Yeah,
You could.
I know,
Well,
The Void's
tools
great.
got better.
That's
That's
kinda-
what I'm saying.
I was-
This era,
yeah,
digital
right.
was starting. It looked pretty good.
Smith was right in there. Yeah, when digital.
But it looks aged
And,
now.
yeah, that's
At
the
the
whole thing,
time,
is
I was this looks great. I can't believe this is digital. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But now
right, totally.
I'm
yeah.
this looks like a little bit better than a DSLR, which is fine for the story it's trying to tell.
Yeah.
It is noticeable. I don't need it to be fucking, Christopher Nolan at IMAX or any of that bullshit. That's fine for what this movie is, absolutely. And it works probably in its benefit. I mean, look at 28 years later. It's fucking shot on a phone, you know what I mean? And it looks like it.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to look like it. It's a choice, you know what I mean? So anyway, I got a couple Reddits for you, so let's see what they do. Let's see what these,
Nice.
see what these
But
dudes
I,
got to say.
think that the distribution, the way that he did this, was like really cool, and I'm really bummed that it didn't like cascade. It didn't cause more people to do this. Like, you know, I'm sure there are people
It's a cool idea. Yeah.
who kind of like you know, roadshow
Let's just
indie
abandon
films
our
around.
lives,
But
and we'll take our families. I'll take my kids, and we'll like
Sure, yeah.
we'll like road trip, fucking Grateful Dead style, town to town on our horror movie. We'll make a new movie.
Yeah, dude.
Or we'll just show our
Well, we
movie
got it. Yeah.
for the 10-year anniversary, which is past now, I think.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, it totally is. Oh, it's way past. But I know, yeah, we could do Dreamer or something. That'd be fun.
No,
Just
let's
flush out
make,
Dreamer
let's
or
just make a
something.
new movie. I'll talk to you about it later,
make-
but I'm
We gotta make Hollow, right? That was the one.
No, I got a new one.
Oh, okay.
I'm making
okay,
it.
cool.
I'm
we'll
making
talk about it.
I mean, I got
Here,
a lot, but
give us some
anyway,
Reddits.
So
Give us
I
Reddits.
got I got Successful Time 5441 says, man, what a film. Good call to watch it this week. I think I last saw it in 2014. I'll have to rewatch it and then share my full thoughts, but I thought originally it was a fascinating departure from Kevin Smith's normal themes, and I always remember it being deeply physical movie, very immediate shot to shot. I like the way it moved a lot, and what a terrifying film. Kind of reminds me of 1931's Frankenstein in the way it both displays different varieties of sheer terror, especially the horror of what people can do to each other. Good comment. I hope you go watch it, get a refresher,
Yeah,
see how it feels. Get how it feels now, man. And if you do, come back and comment.
Yeah.
I'll see it. Clones of People 2 says, first watch. This was my first look at Kevin Smith's non-comedy work. I'm a big fan of Dogma and the first two Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but I've been less interested in his films for the past decade or so. So has everyone, unfortunately.
I know,
for
right,
better,
right. That, yeah.
For better or
yeah.
worse, we'll get it because it's
Preach.
like, yeah. I mean, honestly, Tusk is probably the last movie I've seen of his. I don't think I've seen anything past Tusk because it's like, I don't know. He dropped off. He started like smoking weed, and then it's like he was going a new interesting route, and he's like, I just want to do what's fun and safe because I want to do my brand. And unfortunately, like I still want to see like Clerks 3 and everything. Anyway, going on. Closer People Do goes on to say, I'm glad Smith went outside his comfort zone, and while this was a fine action thriller, it was a bit too messy at times. It jumped from character to character a bit too much, and I found it often lost momentum when it did. That said, it allowed for lots of fun twists and turns. I loved when the trumpets sound. I wish this film had just went with that. There's the start of Dogma 2. Michael Parks was the standout from the film. It really reminded me of Eli Roth. It's a little bit of Hostel and Planet Terror. Hints of Tarantino too.
Dude,
Eli Roth.
Eli Roth.
He's
Thank
indicative
you.
of that era.
That's
dude.
who I was trying to.
2000s,
I was really trying to
the
think.
late
God, this
2000s.
reminds me of like, this is like, who's a succinct director that's like I can compare it to? Eli Roth, perfect. Yes, down to the goatee, everything.
I know, right? God, we should watch. Well, I don't think we've done any Eli Roth movies. We should for Horrortober. We should do Cabin Fever, dude. Cabin Fever rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, it really reminded, Eli Roth, blah, 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 blah. I think it was all a bit disjointed and could have had more depth. Overall, it was entertaining, but nothing too special. Yeah, thanks for the comment. I hope hearing about how it actually ended, I don't know if you already knew about that or not already, but hopefully that was like spurred something because, the horns are so good.
Yeah. Dogma, yeah,
and
totally.
even though the ending is, I think, is solid, but it's like, could have been. And then, last but not least, Competitive Bat 5831 says, even when the bad guy is religious cults, it's the FBI. I corrected him later. It's the ATF, you fuck. Just kidding.
No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's supposed to be the FBI. That's Waco.
No,
it's literally modeled off of them.
No, it isn't. It's ATF, which is Waco. ATF.
I know.
It works better if you know who the ATF is.
Waco's got like every single department in the worked on it, but
well, no, it was mostly the ATF. They're the ones who fucked it up though, and they fucked up Ruby Ridge too. Right after that, they have the reputation for fucking up these standoffs, and that's why that joke works.
Yeah.
And the plot hinge works is because their reputation for fucking up. And even John Goodman's like, we're right now. Are you sure you want to go that route? Anyway, I went in pretty blind, he says, and it was okay. I felt almost like a propaganda-style movie about the dangers of Christians in a hokey 50s-style voice. I think a funny contrast is that I watched this when it was released. I imagine it would have been in disbelief that the of people could actually marry into the group. Sadly, I don't find that hard to believe anymore. Yeah, sad but true. Because watching it, you're like, man, isn't that crazy? And watching that now, you're like, yeah, there's probably like 5 of these, or like just like in my area. Like I live in Utah. I bet you there's like, I don't even want to know how many like offshoot Mormon cults there are around here, because there always is. You're always hearing about the fucking murder Mormon cults. I mean, there's that Chad Daybell one that just happened like last year or whatever. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, dude, thanks for the comment. I agree. It's I don't know. Yeah, this does feel, and it's interesting seeing like when you say like, and I wouldn't call it like anti-Christian propaganda, but it is like in like the more hardcore beliefs, like Max to 11, like I was saying earlier, where it's like the non-hypocrisy
right.
of it.
Yeah,
which makes sense if it's Kevin Smith, like in the aftermath of grappling with religion and then finally landing on the other side and being like, because again, this movie feels like he had to get something out. You know what I mean? Like it feels a little mean.
Of course,
like a little mean spirited.
No, right, exactly.
Vitriol,
I think that's
including
but I think
his opinion on the religion, right?
Yeah, and also like he's kind of like there is. I mean, you know, we keep saying Waco and that like, but he's really just like he's like there's you know one scenario where pretty much the exact same thing that I'm doing in this happened in real life, and so it's kind of like that where it's like, you know, but and that's not the only time. That's just like one of the biggest times that it's happened. And so, you know, I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, to say propaganda to me, I feel like, yeah, it's a little much. But I appreciate the comment.
Yeah.
I think that the family dynamics is like the best part of this. That's I mean, that's why I love how you know, like the moms are like. The woman who's like, yeah, Daddy, I'm ready to die for him.
I don't have it open anymore, but he did respond again saying, and like something about like, it's like almost like their propaganda where it's just like the evils of homosexuality and like pot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely, it does feel like where it's just like, they're like comically evil in the way that it's just like, homosexual. But the sad part is, again, back in the day, I'm like, that's funny, but I'm like, my stepdad talks like that, so you know what I mean? Like,
no, I really like even watching it when I saw it. That's the same thing I had on this watch. It's
literally
like the connection to that, where I'm like, these are real life people. Like it's like they're like they're shopping and they're voting and they're here. You know, they live next door to you.
They vote.
Like,
they definitely vote. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that's Red State. Red State's it's a lot of fun. It's obviously kind of messy, but I like it. It's got some warts, but I'd still take her to prom, warts and all. So.
Totally.
Anyway,
well, I want to just say, support us on Patreon.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Appreciate that. Come check it out. We're gonna do more extra content. There's gonna be quite a big shift up. I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but like with our schedule and everything. Jordan's moving. I'm going back to school, and my school schedule's changing in like next month. So
well, and look forward to things changing for the positive. Also,
oh yeah, for sure. That's
probably
we'll get some mix-ups, and hopefully the Patreon. Hopefully there'll be more stuff, and there'll be the YouTube videos. We'll be able to touch each other's flesh sometimes. That'll be nice.
Yeah, yeah, baby.
So yeah,
same room.
Check it out. We since there's like 5 Wednesdays this month, we're gonna do one more religious movie. Probably be a big old fucking big old religious movie. I'll put like Silence and Last Temptation of Christ or something.
10 Commandments.
Yeah. I already put 10 Commandments on one and it lost, but
that's right.
Last Temptation I've been saving.
Last Temptation.
A couple of the other big ones. So go vote, go see what other ones, and we'll see what we're gonna do next month coming up. So yeah. Thanks for checking it out. Hey, and the YouTube worked this time mostly. I saw it flicker a couple times, but we did. So
that's fine. Yeah, we're good. My internet's chugging.
We're in it, baby. So all right, till next time.
Okay. Goodbye.